Well, there you are. Again, Charlie Greer podcast. I do this every day. Today, sailing the seas of stupidity. Yeah, we all are, basically. Can't get your boat out of that sea of stupidity. Before we start, please like, share, and subscribe. If you want to support the channel, which you do, the information is in the description for Zelle. Now, Zelle's an app. There is not a link there. You gotta download the app, or sometimes your bank will have it already embedded. Anywho's it. Simple and easy. It's the future. The future is now. So please support the channel. So, sailing the seas of stupidity. We all got our boat in that sea. It's coming back around though. See, life goes in these cycles, So we're kind of like coming out of this creative dark age. It's trippy how some of this information applies. Like the Napoleon complex applies, like people, it's weird how people will act like their height and their facial hair and stuff. Man, you can take that shit to the bank. Especially if their height and facial hair, but combined, if they have them both, well, you better watch it. Yeah, sailing the seas. So again, you can't change certain things. You have to acknowledge them. That's how you break the curse. You just can't like internalize it. You gotta lean into it and be like, hey man, yeah, I got my boat in the same stupid sea, but that dog don't hunt. I ain't gonna again, cowardly behavior. And YouTube is full of these stupid idiots. I mean, it's a wash. It sucks. YouTube used to be so cool. And their algorithm promotes this certain stupidity. Especially in the true crime. Like, man, there's true crimers out there that will do research, that'll actually get real interviews and stuff like that. And then these other parrots will take their stuff, barely mention them, not have them on, not try to get them monetized. I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about other people that I know. And they do it over and over and over. And the people they do have on, and like, oh, let's get this person monetized, etc., are creepy weirdos. See, this is the thing. The true crime community on YouTube is full to the brim with criminals. I'm just going to say that right up front. They're doing things. They're hiding in plain sight. Mark my word. By this time next year, you're going to see some of these dudes go down, or whoever they are. I got to name names. I ain't no snitch. But I can read people pretty damn good. And I've been around the block a bit. And there's certain tells, and see, that's how they can exist in that world, talking about all this creepy shit. Not all of them. I'm talking about, but a lot of them are. As a matter of fact, some of them that are doing the best are hiding. You think they're so narcissistic, they think they can get away with it. You think you can get away with it. See, that's you. These same followers that have supported you are coming. So is law enforcement. So yeah, sailing the seas of stupidity, it's everywhere. You can't swing a cat without, and nothing against cats, without running into this like a mouth breathing Napoleon complex, no talent, idiot, I just say, schmendrick, if you will. They're all over. Women, men, it's just makes me nauseous. But I thought I'd rant about it today because that's what I do. I rant and rave like a madman. Oh, speaking of ranting like a madman, my book, Charlie Greer, Rant of the Madman, you can get it on Amazon, downloadable, the physical, whatever. And I have people that buy and mail it to me. I'll sign it and I'll mail it back. It's a short read. It's like 100 pages or something. And it's been out for 20 years, and they owe me 20 years worth of. Dude, if they paid me what they owe me on my book, I could live for a few years, not even, maybe more. But I own the movie rights, so I'll have the last laugh, if you will. So yeah. Anytime, and I've said this over and over again, I'm parroting myself right now. Anytime I've tried to do anything here comes these. A lot of times it's nepotism, favoritism, cronyism. When I lived in Champaign-Urbana, they called them townies, like these people that are from town. Because Champaign-Urbana has like the University of Illinois, and every year there's new fresh meat, like freshmen, and it's an expensive school, so they come from families with money. Man, it's a cottage industry. These townies have set up like just a lot of times it's through like their businesses, lessons they'll teach, or whatever the fuck, or robbery. Basically, people come from Chicago to rob students at the U of I. The wealth of the world is in Champaign-Urbana sometimes. But I had to deal with that because I moved to Champaign right after my father died. Here I am, this hillbilly kid. I was like 17, come from like a town of 2,000, and I was shocked at the without this said like townyism or cronyism, they couldn't exist. Like they're making fun of me because you're from a small town, you got an accent. Man, I had more knowledge. I had done more. I'd already been in a band, booked the VFW hall for my band. I was 17 years old. I mean, I'd done more gigs, real gigs, not like, talent show shit. Pardon me, my belly. So I was like, and I knew, again, Southerners will actually talk about this more than they'll let you know. So I grew up around this, like pointing people out, like, hey, like, what the fuck you talking about? So then they start respecting you because it's like, look, this guy ain't backing down. That's the thing. It's like they think they can come with their words, like their verbal abuse. Most people will tuck tail and run from verbal abuse, meaning they would surround me. And something it's like, I'd ask them, why do you give a shit, man? You're in a band that's already signed. Why do you care about because I'm threatening. See, I validate that stagnant creative existence they have. If I can't, then no, they can't, because again, their daddy worked at U of I went to the uni high school, that kind of shit, and you just go right by. You take them out of that bubble, they can't exist. Say if you take them to LA, well, they got to have someone they know in LA to see. I'm doing great. Yeah, you're living with somebody that again is a townie. I'd run into him in LA. Like, what are you doing here? Oh, all you got, they gather like fleas. People in LA make fun of them. Matter of fact, they have a bad reputation in Chicago. I'm talking about these townies in Champaign-Urbana and in Chicago, probably in New York too. Without like that little circle, meaning people that went to the U of I or whatever, they can't exist. They don't exist. They have no street cred. They have no following besides that little small group of people that they, that bubble they're in. Nobody's going to remember these people. Nobody remembers them. That, it's like, same thing on the point I'm trying to make it. YouTube too. People come and go, man. These people are like idiots. They don't know they're in that same sea as I or all of us. And they don't know the stupidity because they're creating stupidity. That's what they do. It defines them. They're a bunch of mouth breathers. Yeah, and I'm not the best either, right? I'm cursing, I'm smoking, I got shitty equipment, I got this one little light. But I got character and I'm unique and I can flow. I don't think anybody can match my flow. They're reading off screens and commenting and shit. Try doing what I do. Try going live and flowing. Well, you never could do it. You do the pauses in between, like shit. You know how hard it is what I do? The easy part is the hard part is make it look easy. Try it one time. I dare you. See how and to keep that energy that I have, you know how fucking hard that is? It's like another character in my podcast. People think again, try. Do a Charlie Greer, see what you can see how far you get. You're gonna go back to your old, Again, people do whatever, and I like other, it's not like, but see, I'm getting to the point where I am starting to get a little, and then people they're kind of coming after me, which is always, it's okay, it's okay. And I get it. Again, that's why it's always anything I've ever done. You have to go through these, and at the end of the day, I'm I know how the outcome's going to be. These people will be the biggest fans. They'll follow. They'll be followers. It's happened every time. My band, my artwork, my book, all this stuff. First they make fun of you, then they accept you, then they want to be like you. First they make fun of you, then they accept you, then they want to be like you. That's ancient knowledge. And I'm not talking about I'm talking about way back before, thousands of years. Hell, millions, who knows? They're lying about us, about our history. I know this. Yeah, it's already, it's troublesome in the beginning. You gotta everybody's gotta pay their dues. But I know. I know. I've anything I've ever done, I surge past people. I've had, again, back to my band. I was in a band called LaMotta in LA, and we were our home base was this apartment in West Hollywood, kind of nice. It was a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. I mean, considering where I was living, and musicians lived there. I'm not going to name names and stuff, but it was like the hub. People came, went, rock stars came and went. And that's where we do our business during the day. So you're promoting your band during the day, and then at night you're out like gigging or whatever you do, partying. And we played with this band, and they're like, "Wow, So they're, hey, we got friendly with them. We're like, we'll come by, come on by, hang out during the day. And this is like '98. And I think I've told this story before, but the singer guitarist, again, a nepotist, rich kid from I don't even know where. He lived in a nicer place, but he didn't have to have a job. His parents gave him, I think it was like a trust fund, whatever it was. So he's sitting there. He's like, my God, like we're talking to clubs and this, that, and the other. At the time, we had a laptop. Matter of fact, it's one of the early laptops. And we're doing business. We're flowing. Me and my other guy in my band. The drummer was never around. He was with me. And he was like, wow, man, like you guys are, teach me what you're doing here. Well, what is, working that's what we do every day, He's like, how much money you spending on the band? What's your budget? Like, budget? What do you mean budget? We ain't got a budget. He's like, no, like break it down. I was just like, well, we put our heads together, me and the other guy in the band, like, well, we split that warehouse with that other band. So it's like, so between the three of us, I was in a 3-piece, maybe $300 or $400 a month. Now this is back in the 90s, so that was a little bit more than now, but maybe $300 or $400 a month. This guy kind of like went off, like he kind of got upset. He's like, well, I can't believe you guys do, because we're doing better than his band. He's like, my dad, I can't believe he admitted this, but he goes, my dad gives me a $10,000 a month stipend just for my band. Then I get another 10 or 20 a month for my living in this. $10,000 a month on your band, and you guys are opening for, huh? And he couldn't wrap his head around, like, how can you guys just be spending $300 or $400 and I'm swimming in your way? At least he was honest. More like, fuck, I don't know. What are you doing with that 10,000? I actually told him, I go, look, give me 2 of that a month and I'll help you. Shit, I'll manage your band. No. And he kind of stormed off, and we never saw him again. He never came home around. He and then that band, disappeared. I get seas of stupidity. These people, some of these people have money. Don't matter how much money you're going to be pumping in that band, they're opening for me, with my measly $300, if it was even that, So at the point, what I'm trying to say is, like, if you're out there and you're listening or watching, that's what you gotta have. You gotta know this knowledge. You gotta know that what's going to repel certain negativities is this attitude you gotta have. Don't be mean. Don't threaten anybody. But you gotta let them know, like, hey, this is what you're dealing with. Or mirror them. It's kind of, that's a good one too. YouTubing ain't easy. I get it. It's frustrating with this. It's not even it's the algorithm that promotes these people. See, the people that wrote the algorithm are the same type. Yeah. They'll never admit this. They're just going to promote themselves. And again, it would be like, this is how stupid it is. It'd be like they want the same, it'd be like eating the same food every day. it would drive you crazy. And that's why people are kind of crazy because that's what they're doing. It'd be like painting in the same color. You just wouldn't do it, but people do it. And they'll sabotage everybody around them, themselves included. And that's what's happening. That's what we're dealing with. We're living in the creative dark ages. YouTube is a creative dark age. It has went to shit across the board. Rumble seems to be the same way too. I'm also on Rumble because I linked it up, and every time I do a live, it takes about a day or a couple of whatever it is, and they'll put it on Rumble. I've never even went to shit. I wish I hadn't even done it, but because I'm not getting. You don't think nobody's watching here? Rumble, dear Lord. I have like 0 views on like most of my videos. Yeah, they're supposed to be like, not censoring anybody. Man, that's a tell right there. They're censoring more than YouTube. Hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that's what they do now. They tell you. They hide in plain sight. Tell you to your face. Then do exactly the opposite. And then laugh about it at night when they're having their martinis. See what they. Again, take them out of that little bubble. They can't operate. They're like a fish out of water. And it's gonna happen. It always happens. Nobody's exempt from what I'm talking about. You got to be responsible for what you do. And the creative spirit as human beings, that's kind of why we're on this realm, this world, is we're creators. We create. Now, people come after that and then they hijack it and make it into some kind of weaponized stupidity. It's bad for them. At first, they might do kind of well. And usually what happens, it affects their health and then their finances, sometimes at the same time. And this is not a threat or anything. This is unconscious knowledge. It's anything, because there's creative people in the car industry. There's creative people in the food industry. You know what I mean? It's not just, there's creative people on YouTube doing all kinds of stuff. They don't have enough foresight to realize what they're creating for themselves. Again, they're doing it to themselves. In the long run, only people that are hurting are themselves. At first, you get that first nanny boo-boo kind of effect, like, oh yeah, I'm holding people down. Well, guess what's next? See, there's laws of the universe that it doesn't matter and some of these laws of the universe it just happens. Like gravity, man. Don't matter if you're good or bad, gravity's always going to be there. Same thing with karmic debt. I did a episode about karmic debt. Watch it. That's a thing. No matter if you're good or bad. Karmic debt, somebody's got to pay that karmic debt. There's always a debt to pay. Comment below. What do you think? Are you too just fed up with like the stupidity on YouTube? Just, oh my God, these people don't have any. Again, they don't even know about their speech. I don't think that they're just narcissists. They're not thinking about entertaining anybody. They're thinking about just I, self, me. Monetize, get monetized. I want to monetize. See, they don't have any. They're not riffing. They're not doing anything. People are too insecure in their own life, so they'll just follow the fool. That's a lot of people. But I have followers, friends that, comment or email me or whatever, and it's the same thing. In fact, I was talking to one of them not too long ago, and they bowed out of watching true crime because exactly and when they said that, I go, wow, I'm that same thing with me. I don't watch as much because they just, they'll change the picture of their video and then repeat the same stuff. They're parroting all kinds of crap. You know what I mean? They're not doing any research. And then the researchers who are actually getting interviews with people and doing this stuff, well, they just steal it from them. Don't even promote them. Don't have them on the show. Do you think you're going to be able to sustain that? The sustainability in your stupidity ain't going to make it, man. Come on. And then one of these days, they're not going to be around. They're going to go, I'm off social media. I'm off. That's happening every day. It's what it is. But again, to acknowledge, you can't you know, brush it under the rug, so to speak. We're all in this sea of stupidity, whether you want to believe it or not. Um, you know, an IQ prerequisite would be kind of good for you too. No, that's not gonna. No, that algorithm has nothing to do with your IQ. Because here's the deal: at the end of the day, on YouTube, it's about advertising dollars. So a business model would be, hey, let's monetize everybody, let's promote everybody, because guess what? We'll make more advertising money. Oh no, 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 no. Can you imagine not going with a smart business plan? They did the same thing in the music industry. They did the same thing in the movie industry. They're too dumb. And how they can get around, because they surround themselves with sycophants. Usually people, they can't have anybody smarter or charming, more charming, any of that around them. So it's just dumber and less charming. And, you know, and then those people are less, it's horrible. And they do favors for each other behind, you know, like it's nefarious and stupid. And again, since the beginning of time, I don't know if you can change that, but it'll peak and come down. We hit bottom creatively, and I think we're coming out of, and we'll crest. That's where you're not being inspired. That's where you're not seeing. You know, even with bands, they just have these old bands out there lip syncing, and people are scared of talent. Like I watched, what's her name, Lizzo. Her big fat ass, and she's like playing the flute. Are you kidding me? You think that? I thought I was watching a Saturday Night Live skit. Like, what is this? This doesn't pertain to anything besides, what are you trying to do something different? Like, oh, I'm so different, inclusive, diversity. I don't even know huh? See, that's what people will do. They'll use these other excuses to get, you know, the people that are running most of the creative stuff have no clue and don't want to know and are threatened by certain creative people. They, again, every time anytime you're doing something and you get to a certain level, then you have to start meeting these people in offices and in meetings, like these executive, you know what I mean, behind the scenes. Get your alligator skin on, be prepared. They won't even talk about what you're there for. And usually it's like they use projection, and it's all about control. They want to see how, sometimes they just call you in just to make fun of you, just to try to pull you down. And at first, when I was young when my first band, like my first CD came out, I was like 20, 21, you know. My first national exposure was around that same time. I was too young to, you know, and I knew a little bit, but I didn't, I was naive. It comes with age. So why did they ask us into some of these labels or whatever, huh? Or even magazines, interview, you get, you know, they take you out to dinner or go to a bar and buy you a drink. And then you're like, whoa, 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 whoa. What are you guys talking about? Did you come here to like try to make fun of us? And then we got known, my band, Love Engineer, man, so then we started demanding certain things. Like, you got to meet us at this certain bar. You got to already, we need beer, we need food, da, 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 da. We will approve of, well, then they stopped. They didn't want to, you know, I remember we did it, and these are like fanzines. These are not like national. And so I think there was like a fanzine or a magazine at like Peoria, Illinois, somewhere, like, you know, not even in Champaign, but they had us, you know, rock, whatever, and we were on the cover. So we're on the cover story, meaning we got the biggest, you know, 8 pages of, and they were concentrating on, I broke my arm on stage. Like, we're a real band. Like, you know, we have crowds, stuff reacts. So I got my arm broke. I had a cast, you know, and that's basically what they wanted to talk about. It's like, man, of course, these other bands who parents had spent money getting entertainment attorneys to get them signed to a major label couldn't draw flies with shit. All right. And usually got shelved because that's the grift, you know. Oh, we can afford an entertainment attorney, $10,000 a meeting to get that. We got signed or whatever. And then label's like, oh shit, what do we do? We got grifted. Matter of fact, in Champaign-Urbana, I would go to different, it was known for that. I talk these labels and they're like, oh no, man, they're known. It's holding other people. I can't even go to the label with a band, with a band I like from that area, because they know that they've more than likely it's one of these fake bands. I'm not talking about fake, but like they don't really have a following. They're rich kids. They're nepotists. So they can surround themselves with these entertainment attorneys and this and that. And man, they don't, 70 people are at their gig. The same 70 people. Rolling Stone came to Champaign back in the of course, they didn't interview any of the real bands that were doing anything. Interviewed some of these, and they said it in the article. They literally like, oh my God, like we got duped. And the guy who came, he goes, look, these bands are supposed to be this, that, and the other. They said that it's the same 70 people. I went to the next night to another gig. It was the same 70 people. He was pissed. You can probably find that interview somewhere. It's always been that way. YouTube is no different. So if you're like me, who's kind of struggling on YouTube, hang in there. You always got to go through this barrier. See, this barrier is anything I've ever done, art shows, acting, my band, my book. There's that barrier of these narcissist, fake, I'm talented, see, or I'm funny. Comedians, I'm sure they have to deal with it. You just got to kick the door in on the barrier. And you will. We will, I should say. Just hang in there. Don't let the mouth breathers. And they even parrot themselves. They repeat the same. Have you noticed that about? Oh my God. Oh my goodness. It's see, that's a thing. Even law enforcement do this when they know someone is not telling the truth or doing something like that. They repeat these same words. Ask anybody in LA in law enforcement. That's a tell. They'll use like amazing or amazing, amazing. It's like, oh, okay, here, all right, they're hiding something. Because in normal life, you don't do that. I don't care how nervous you are or whatever. See, this is what people do. People study this, especially in law enforcement. They study this. They know. And then these narcissists think that, oh no, not me. Yeah, you. And it's a shame that like some of these people can hide it a bit. Then they get comfortable, and I guess they get monetized on YouTube, and then they let their guard down. It's like, oh my God, because there was channels that I used to watch and I liked, and I'm like, wait, what is it about this person? What is it? I don't want to be nitpicking, but okay, this is what we're dealing with. Because I don't go out and try to like get attention. I'm the worst at my promotion. I've never contacted anybody about being on their show. Never. I've turned down probably 10 shows. Now, granted, I'm going to be doing some stuff with. I've connected with people, and but man, that ain't going to be me. See why? Because I have some foresight. I have the knowledge of like, I'm not looking for low hanging fruit. I know if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. And it's a gang mentality. They're like fleas. You ever had a dog with fleas? The fleas are all. Hey, maybe that's one a podcast I'll do. The fleas of YouTube. Oh, and also, if you've got like a funny saying that you want me to riff on and do an episode about, comment below. That's how I got the couch of procrastination. Joanne, one of my followers, she said that or emailed me or commented, whatever it was. So I did it. So if you've got something, I'll give you credit. If you got a funny saying, comment, and I'll riff on it for half an hour. Of course, give you credit. But yeah, don't hang your head if you realize that we're in the sea, sailing the seas of stupidity. And that's just see. There's multiple seas in the world, so you get out of the sea of stupidity, you go into the sea of tranquility or whatever it is. Don't get too down. Have some faith. Hang in there. And I do this every day. So I'll be back tomorrow, ranting and raving like a madman. Again, please like, share, subscribe. If you want to support the channel, which you do, it's the information's in the description for Zelle. And again, Zelle is an app. There's no link. It's an app on your phone. Pardon. So yeah, I'll be back tomorrow. Duh. Yeah. But I love y'all. Be blessed. Cheers.